Yo, am I the only one who did not know this was coming out today? This genuinely jump scared me when I opened Viz. What's up, guys? That guy with a pencil here. Fun fact, I do mean to have it on me and keep it on me at all times. And another fun fact, here we are with chapter 24 of Boruto 2 Blue Vortex Uzumaki Kawaki. I was not, like, genuinely, I'll be completely real with you. I was planning to review Chainsaw Man today because I'm still behind on that. I'm still behind. Only one chapter, but still, you know, next chapter dropped next week, so I was like, oh, let me get on that. And then I open up Viz, and the first thing I see is not just the fact that I have it on me and keep it on me at all times, it's the fact that this was here. I mean, I ain't mad, but I feel like the 17th is mad early. Like, am I tweaking? I swear it always releases on, like, the 28th or the 19th. I thought it was going to release on Sunday. Because I'm so used to releasing on the 20th. Because Sunday is 20th, right? Because recording today as it drops on the 17th. So Friday, 18th, Saturday, 19th. Yeah, I thought it was going to drop on the 20th. But here we are. I mean, I'm not complaining. You know, I'm always happy to have a little lick of peek. But with that being the case, thank you to everyone who informed me that, man, I just don't get character design. It was twofold. Number one, everyone who was like, Pencil, you have no idea of fashion. And y'all right. Like, I'm not ever arguing that I did, but like, man, I'm starting to understand a little bit more, mainly because I'm trying to appreciate character design more. Notably, when I think of character design, I look at, like, character symmetries, how well the drawing is done, stuff like that. But I don't understand character design in the way that I feel like I should, for being someone who would consider themselves a manga critic of sort. So I am definitely trying to get a better understanding of fashion. And with my slight research, and I do mean slight, like, I haven't done too much research into it, but very specifically with series like Each of the Witch that I'm reviewing, obviously series like Boruto, and even other series I cover, like Shikamaru days, I definitely should get a better understanding of fashion. And now I see why stuff is drippy. Now that I'm looking up common fashion, and I'm once again, I'm not really deep into, like, the grunge or all the different types of fashion that are out there, but I'm looking more in depth into things like fashion, and I get why Kawaki is drippy. I get the double belts. I even get the sagging a little bit, especially considering he's not, like, really sagging because the shirt covers it. Notably, the bagginess goes a lot into fashion. I've noticed that. Typically, the more clothing, the better is what I've understood. While I've always been a guy who, like, if you couldn't tell me what kind of shirts I typically recorded, I don't really like loose clothing, but then again, I'm just a big guy, so loose clothing just makes you look even bigger. I like to at least pretend I'm just jacked and juicy when I'm wearing, like, tight stuff, but I get why typically fashion isn't tight stuff. Like, I was looking at not just, like, male fashion, but female fashion, and it is a whole bunch of clothing. That's what character design and honestly, fashion design is all about. It's a matter of using what you have and making more out of what you have. So not just, you don't want your clothes to accentuate just your base body, you want them to complement your base body, but also complement themselves. So, like, the whole tattered cloak on top of the tattered pants with the tank top here, complement very well by the tattoos of women. Ultimately, I can now understand why people say Ikimoto was cooked with the character design to a level that I didn't understand before. So, thank you to everyone who was like, Pencil, you don't know ball. Don't talk trash unless you learn some ball. I didn't learn too much ball, but I got like a teeny tiny bit more ball. I'm not ball in, but I'm not balled out, if you know what I'm talking about. Number two, I definitely did sleep a bit on Jura's design. I think I was being a little bit too harsh last review. A lot of y'all broke down, like, how it actually really works into the symbolism, and not just, like, the whole, he's supposed to be ugly, look at the 10 tails, it's ugly, but also, like, how it fits into the references that he's from, like, essentially the aspects of, I forget which culture it's from, but there are like a bunch of references in Jura's design that fit right back into his inspirations that really exemplify really, really well. And ultimately, that, like, off-putting, almost tragic and tattered design really plays into what he is, right? Like, he is, in a way, an abomination. This weird mix between consciousness and unconsciousness, this balance between humanity and inhumanity, the pure idea of chakra and nature and desires fused with the base idea of intelligence. Like, ultimately, his design screams that. And now that I've got that context, now that y'all broke it down for me, I'm appreciating it a whole lot more. So thank you to everyone in Chapter 23's comment section who was like, hold on. This man Pencil clearly doesn't know ball. Let's get into it. The only thing y'all haven't been able to convince me on is the feet. If one of y'all can manage to convince me on the feet being an okay part of all the Shinju's designs, then we can cook. The only interest I've seen is, well, look at the 10 tails feet. I don't care. The 10 tails feet being ugly is no excuse for their feet being ugly. I'm not giving you that. I'll give you everything else. I'll give you my lack of fashion knowledge, and I'll give you the fact that I was sleeping on Jura's design. I'll give you both of that. Can't give you anything else on the feet, exclusively. But let's waste more time. Let's hop right into chapter 24 of Boruto 2 Blue Vortex Uzumaki Kawaki. It's crazy. I think it's already been 2 years. That's wild. I don't know. I feel like I just started reviewing Boruto yesterday. I gotta make more Boruto discussion videos. I have, like, so many thoughts on the character, but then again, I keep telling myself, I feel so much like Restless Gambler saying he's gonna reread Elbath, dog. Because I keep telling you, I'm gonna reread part 1. I never sit down and have the time to do it. And I've reread other manga. That's the fact. I've reread other manga. And like I'm halfway through a reread. Admittedly, I'm rereading some romance manga I read a while ago that hadn't updated for a while. But then I got a couple new chapters. Like, oh, let me refresh myself. So I've reread those, and they aren't that long. But still, regardless, I've reread other manga in the time that I said I've been gonna reread part 1. And I was just saying I was gonna reread part 1 at the end of part 1. So it's been actual literal years. So now seeing Boruto in 2 years is like, whoa, maybe I gotta start putting it on somebody in order to make sure I actually do it. But let's not waste more time. Let's hop right into it. Good. Wait. Good. Huh? Oh. Another thing I want to mention. I literally grabbed this just because it came to mind. I'm not sure if this is intentional, but especially with the way he's holding the staff, his design, and everything, Kawaki is now giving me massive Son Wukong vibes. Very specifically, not just the way that he's wielding the chakra rod like the Yoi Bong or the Jingu Bang. I'm just gonna call it the Jingu Bang because I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing Yoi right or Yoi Bong right. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing those right. So the Jingu Bang, essentially, this thing I have here, it reminds me a lot of Son Wukong. The constant shape shifting, that also is a very big aspect of Son Wukong. Even a bit of his design in the like the wild hair and stuff like that, very reminiscent of Son Wukong. And honestly, it's very rare that you see Son Wukong portrayed in like the antagonist role. And obviously, you know, Kawaki is definitely more so a deuteragonist, but in a way, he's currently kind of an antagonist to Boruto while being a temporary ally. So seeing Son Wukong portrayed in this way is actually really, really interesting and actually super duper rare. And that's funny because, you know, it even fits further into Son Wukong with the whole idea of rebelling against the gods, right? Like he was a strange, almost abject creation of them because, you know, he has his whole ties back to Ishiki and Kara and of itself, and he harnesses the power of the gods, such as using karma, using Ishiki's power. Just in the same way that Son Wukong rebelled against the gods, while also using their powers, such as, you know, the sacred divine armaments, robbing from the celestial dragons, and obviously eating the many different peaches, and all the different types of immortality that he got from directly from the gods. And obviously, you know, Kawaki's own immortality, the idea of reincarnation that was based in him, the fact that he has different powers and states and transformations, and the shapeshifting, and the wielding of his staff the way he does. All that is so heavily Son Wukong based, I'm shocked it didn't slam me over the head before. And notably, I haven't looked too deep into it. This is probably a common topic here, like Pencilman, catch up. We've been talking about him being a Son Wukong parallel since he was introduced. I'm sorry, it only hit me because I saw him holding the staff like this, and I have the Jingu Bang. If I didn't have this in my room, I wouldn't have even thought about it. But with it being the case, I had it, and I thought about it, so I think it's a really neat parallel. Has anyone else noticed it? Is this a common piece of discussion that y'all are like, Pencilman, you are old and slow. Catch up. I don't know. It's just hit me now with all the parallels between those two. And it's funny, because it kind of puts Boruto in like the weird, like, place of the Buddha? Like, at least how the Buddha's commonly portrayed. When I'm thinking of, like, the parallels, if I'm going with the whole Journey to the West dichotomy. Though you definitely could argue Boruto's more Tangzang. I'm not sure. Actually, yeah, I'd say that's more appropriate. Not really Buddha. Because I'm thinking, and notably, I've never actually read Journey to the West. I just have Orly Sarcastic Productions' portrayal of Journey to the West. So I'm very specifically thinking of what I have of that. And obviously, I played Black Myth Wukong and the context I read from doing research for that video. But, with it being the case, I would actually say Boruto isn't really the Buddha. That would be more so Tang Zhuangzhang. I'm not sure how to say their name. Tang Zhuangzhang? The Tang monk, essentially. I'd say Boruto fits more into that role, with the whole idea of guiding Kawaki, and very specifically, trying to forgive him and bring him along no matter what crazy things Kawaki does is also very parallel. So I wonder if that, like, that's actually very rare that I think about it. Now that I'm thinking about it, I meant to make like a whole video on that. I'm gonna look that up. Is there a video that's already been made, like the parallels between Journey to the West and Boruto? I saw a video by Malachi, a fantastic content creator. He made a video talking about how Dragon Ball lives on in Boruto. I need to watch that video. And he actually just reacted some of his videos on the channel. He's a fantastic content. Sorry, I'm getting so distracted. Let's actually hop into the chapter itself. Huh? A mission in Sunagakure. Yeah. Head there as soon as the models removed your limiters, and help Sora and the others. Once you've arrived, I'll go too. Ah, okay. So ultimately, Boruto was never sticking around. So that's the thing. Even beforehand, this is obviously a flashback to when they both agreed. They're on the Hokage Monument right now, from what it looks like. This is very specifically confirming for us that ultimately, if Kawaki had shown up sooner, if the limiters got removed sooner, Boruto would have shown up regardless. He was never going to listen to Kashin Koji, because I doubt he would go back on his word with Kawaki. Let's see. Once you arrived, I'll go too. That'll likely cause Jura to join in, but your presence will give us a chance. Okay. So that really was a calculated risk, because he was gonna, like, that was a gamble top. Like, he was gonna die. And I get it, you know, he went in to save his homies, but he was gonna die. If Kawaki showed up like 5 seconds later, Jura was gonna boom that man. And realistically, Jura could have blown him a whole lot faster. So Boruto was really, especially considering how heavily Kashin Koji was like, bro, you're gonna die. Genuinely, Boruto rolling the dice like that, he really is a gambler. Let's see.
It can't be that simple. It was just for a second when I saw his power. He's a bona fide monster.
You know it's bad if Kawaki say that. Because, you know, he would never want to admit that under normal circumstances.
I don't think adding more of us is going to make any difference.
Maybe, but once again, it really depends on how strong you are post-limiters. And this does actually raise an interesting question. Do you guys think that Kawaki will, or Kawaki with no limiters, do you think he surpassed Ishiki or reached his old level? Because that'll definitely, like, confirm where things are power scaling wise, because it's actually a little bit vague in part 2, like where everyone scales to each other in terms of like the back part. I've seen a lot of people say, oh, at least the Otsutsuki tiers, obviously not like your Konohamaru's or like your Mitsuki's, but your Otsutsuki tiers such as Jura, naturally one of the god trees, and Boruto and Kawaki and such, they've all surpassed like the previous generation and even the previous Otsutsuki, such as Ishiki and Momoshiki. But I think it's actually kind of debatable on whether or not Kawaki's actually reached Momoshiki, not just because he had the limiters, but even when the limiters removed, we don't know. We know that Code with his limiters removed was stronger than Jigen, but we also know Jigen was massively weaker than Ishiki. So I don't actually know. Do you think that Kawaki is actually just as strong as Ishiki, or do you think he's stronger now, considering he has his base stats plus all the powers of Ishiki? I wouldn't be shocked if he's actually stronger, but that'd actually be interesting to see. And obviously, considering how badly he was doing Jura last chapter, I'm very interested to see now how Jura is going to get out of this, whether he's going to take it more seriously, and whether Jura is able to regenerate. That's the main thing I'm most interested to see. And I wonder, will he produce a Thorn Bulb? Oh, and thank you for everyone for confirming I'm not insane. It was actually called a Thorn Soul Bulb before. I kept saying it because, like, I swear it was said like that way. It was said that way before. It was. They just stopped calling it that. They started calling it the Thorn Bulb. But I do wonder if he'll produce a Thorn Bulb, because technically he's just the Ten Tails, as far as we know. Obviously, there's debate, but no, seemingly he's just been repeatedly confirmed to be the Ten Tails. So what happens when he's destroyed? I don't actually know, but let's see.
Oh, he throws him one of the tags for Flying Rajan? Alright. Flick. Huh? What's this? It ain't possible to take Jura down right now. The question is how to survive once he engages with...
I don't know! Kawaki was low-key giving him back shots. Like at the end of the chapter, like, he was actually looking real bad for... I don't know.
Let's see. How to survive once he engages with us. The most realistic way is for all of us to flee together using my Flying Rajan. But there are conditions to teleporting long distances. I need to sense the chakra I've imbued into that metal piece.
Okay, so once again, reinforcing the long distance thing. You know what? I'm letting it slide at this point because I now think, fine. Before, I was a little bit iffy on the narrative implications, but time has passed. And basically, I'll let you know this. If I'm ever hard on something, give it time. I will soften. And this is one of the cases where I've softened. I still think showing Boruto teleporting out of a multi-Shinju area all the way back in chapter 4 with just a quick flick of the wrist and then gone. I still think that shouldn't have did that. Should have created different circumstances somehow to let him out. But we're just going to pretend that doesn't exist, and we're going to stick with this limitation for Flying Rajan. That's fine. That's fine. Because ultimately, now I think it creates a more interesting plot. It adds more tangible stakes. And I can ignore a retcon here or there. Or not even a retcon, maybe just a different interpretation. Because many people have interpreted maybe Boruto didn't actually teleport that far when he was being surrounded by the Shinju. He maybe just teleported somewhere slightly out of their range and then teleported way farther after actually being able to focus. It's debatable. It's debatable. And notably, I'm not going to hold the story down for one minor inconsistency. Even if it does facilitate a pretty major interaction as it is now. Let's see.
I need to sense the chakra I've imbued into that metal piece. Something that'd be impossible if I were fighting that monster all alone.
If he was fighting all alone, but not if he was with his homeboy. I see the vision. Let's see. Okay, and Jorah's lunging. Once again, Jorah does not seem to care. He has a hole in his head and is missing an eye and is missing a leg. Let's see.
So you want me to buy you that time, huh?
I mean, once again, Kawaki, you're going kind of dumb stupid in base. Let's see you versus Jura with Karma activated. This may actually go buku bonkers. Let's see. Okay. Jura with the beat. Oh, yeah, that's the thing, though. Honestly, Kawaki may be, like, a dumb... If he has the stats to compete, he may be, like, the worst type of opponent for Jura. Yeah, but it's genuinely crazy to think about the fact that Kawaki is such a hard counter, right? Because, notably, all that Jura's shown so far is Bijudama and hands. And if Kawaki has better physical stats, and the ability to absorb chakra, and possibly send it back to, like, is Jura... Like, he has to pull a new tech. Let's see. Because there's no way. Like, at least... Last chapter had me low-key believing Kawaki's about to div Jura, but unless Jura is a fake-out main antagonist, kind of like how Code was a fake-out main antagonist for part 2, I'm assuming somehow Jura's gonna have to fight back. But let's see. First, Bijudama gets absorbed. Boruto bracing. Oh, but right now, he's focusing. But the thing I do wonder, though, will he be able to stack... I'm sorry, I don't know what happened. Will he be able to stack all three, right? Because think about it. He needs to focus on a faraway point to teleport to, for one. Two, he needs to focus on where Mitsuki and Konohamaru are, along with the unconscious Sarada, and possibly even Arya. He needs to get all of them. And then he needs to teleport out again, all before Jura does anything. And notably, while Kawaki can definitely clearly hold his own right now, he just amped himself. Look at Jura already adapting a little bit. Remember, this is a Jura missing an eye and missing a leg. So who knows? Maybe my glorious, slightly ugly, but actually thematically well-designed king will actually cook Kawaki a little bit. But I'm going to need to see it because it's looking rough for my boy. Let's see. Oh, actually, I like how he did that, though. I like how he did that. Using the Bijudama. I wonder if he knew it was going to get absorbed, though, if this is just, like, on-the-fly improvisation. Because you see, he fires the Bijudama. Kawaki absorbs it, but it does send dust up. The dust blocks their vision. I guess... Who? Are either Kawaki or Boruto sensory types? I actually don't know. I actually don't know what the types of ninja that they are. So that explains why this was able to work, because the smoke screen was just enough that Kawaki was caught off guard, so that Jura didn't complete the dive into him. He flipped around him, and so he's about to give Kawaki back shots, probably with the middle finger. Let's see. What I say? What I say? I know, it's literally his claw finger. But it's so funny that he's like, huh. He said he's gonna finger you one way or another. Okay, let me stop. Let's see. Oh, but Kawaki does react in time. And I'm assuming this is... Someone literally said it in the last comment section. I'm gonna look it up. I'm not playing these games this time. Googler, come here. Hold on. Dharma, Wheel, Eye, Boruto. What is it called? Show me the truth. The Kokugan. There we go. The Kokugan. The Kokugan in its ability... Dojutsu... What is the ability? There it is. Sukuna... You know, I should know that, considering how much of a Sukuna slapper I am. Sukuna Hikona. Kawaki using the Kokugan Sukuna Hikona likely to shrink in order to avoid the attack rather than dodge it. Which does show that he is, in spite of the... I'm about to say the Kawaki amp. Lord. The Karma amp. Jura isn't exactly not relative. He's not, like, relative, but look at that. Kawaki didn't, like, straight blitz him. Or let's maybe. I'm assuming he shrunk here, though. We don't see the Kokugan active, though, so maybe not. Let's see. No. Okay, so it's definitely Sukuna Hikona, because not only does Kawaki vanish, presumably through shrinking, meaning that Jura whiffed, but also we see the different blocks from Kawaki's separate dimension come out. Oh, you know, I do like that, too. I like that ultimately Boruto knows, wait a minute, just because I have an alliance with this guy does not mean he will... he's not going to fight carefully around me. Boruto still needs to dodge, like, oh, wait, I know what these blocks do. He's having flashbacks right now. Ooh, interesting, though. Jura still goes directly for the Bijudama. I don't think that's a smart move, though, because presumably Kawaki could not necessarily teleport, but he could appear on any of the blocks if Jura can't perceive him right now and just step it right up. Let's see. He loads up a Bijudama. One of this... Oh! I do want to thank... This is something I meant to thank earlier on as well. Not just the fashion sense, not just Jura's design. Also, it was the one bit of action I didn't understand from last chapter. Boruto pulled a part 1 Naruto and Sasuke. He threw the shuriken, but I think it was a kunai. He threw the kunai, but he was the kunai. So he like had a clone throw a kunai, then he transformed out of the clone and then attacked Jura. I didn't get it because the reference just wasn't clicking for your boy. I'm not even gonna blame Ikimoto for that. That was just like me failing basic reading comprehension. This is a manga about ninjas. I should know that there are plays like that. Let's see. Did he fire and do no damage to the block? Interesting. I can't tell if he fired a full scale, and then this is once again, I'm not sure if I'm missing something here. Did he fire a full scale Bijudama and it just bounced off the block? Or did he fire one of the more pinpoint beams? It looks like I'm almost missing a panel here, but it seems like he did hit it because I see the boom sound effect. So let's see. And they all fall into the ground. Okay, so yeah, he hit one of them. Because I see that one shattered. So he likely launched one of the more precise Bijou Blast, I suppose. If not Bijou Bomb, that was presumably a Bijou Blast. That is like the sniper shot he hit Boruto with. It went into the block and destroyed it. But the other blocks landed just fine. Boruto's flying. But then again, he's still really focused on watching the fight. But I do think that's a hand up. So he is still trying to teleport. Let's see. Jura surrounded by blocks. Ooh, Kawaki, not just with the base mix up. Oh, further feeding into the some Wukong references I was talking about earlier. Even the, like, a giant claw monstrous hand is kind of low-key a reference to the stone monkey, at least in the way that it's being portrayed, and the fact that it's, like, a clawed hand. So, I think Ikimoto and Kishimoto may just be cooking. Let's see. Right behind Jura. And he actually does manage to tag him. So, yeah, Jura, he is on the back ropes. Unless it's revealed that he's massively holding back or something. I look at the Kawaki has his number right now. And who can show up to help him? Like, let's be real. Obviously, anyone could show up through the claw grind marks that they're covered in. Essentially, their clothing is the perfect teleportation portal, but I'm not sure Hidari would be useful here. He did also get viciously diffed by base Boruto. Not to talk of this clearly already stronger than Boruto and base Kawaki, who's now using Karma. And even base Boruto is still around and mostly fine. And who else? Mamushi? Like, he could show up. I don't even think he's comp right now. Like, genuinely, I think Jura maybe... He can't be cooked, though. We're too early on in the chapter. Let's see. Oh, interesting move here. Interesting move. So, Kawaki goes to grab him, but it ends up looking more like a smack. He smacks Jura away. Jura recovers immediately, flies back off the one leg. So, he really... And it's funny. Now I think about it. Did the Ten Tails really ever use... I mean, it swung its arms around, but it never really used its claws to attack this specifically. So it's very interesting to see Jura essentially go for, like, the saber-tooth approach for any of my Marvel fans out there. Like, notably, Wolverine has the 3 bone claws, which then get coated in adamantium. But Sabretooth, like a saber-tooth tiger, has the 2 prominent fangs. Sabretooth just has the 1 big claw coming out of his hand. And while, obviously, this is a finger covered in claw grime mark, it's very interesting to see Jura consistently go for this. If he's not attacking you physically with his feet, he's going to constantly try to impale you. But obviously that becomes pretty readable, and I think that's going to be one of Jura's biggest weaknesses until he gets more experience. The fact that he fights rather linearly. Obviously it didn't matter before against Boruto because he just drastically outstatted him. It didn't matter against anyone Jura was fighting because he was drastically outstatting everybody. But now that he has someone relative or with relative stats to him, if not flat out superior stats, an actual combat skill, he's low-key kind of getting sauced on. Has he even landed a hit on Kawaki? Since Kawaki showed up? I don't think so. Let's see. Block. But, ooh, the weave is immaculate, but another stab. Yeah, okay, so now they're exchanging. So, Jura is more relative than I thought. It looks like base Kawaki's performance last chapter was chalked up to a lot of Jura just not understanding what's going on, because for him to be at all reacting to and forcing Kawaki to block, it goes to show that his, even while heavily damaged too, his stats are still definitely highly relative to Kawaki. Though it does look like Kawaki is taking the lead here, because not only is he blocking while Jura's being forced to dodge, but even you can tell by how this is shown by their body posture. He's using his faux Jingu Bang to apply a whole bunch of pressure to Jura, and Jura is clearly the more stressed one here. Kawaki looks aggressive, Jura looks stressed. Jura, my boy, you better pull out something crazy. Let's see. Okay. Calm rotation around, smack. Ooh, straight to the stummy. Why is he so wide? But straight to the stummy is crazy. Kawaki. Why are you trying to get in the Ten Tails guts, bro, Chacho? Or are you code? I'm kidding. Let's see. Stab right in. Oh, wait, what happened? Did he... Oh, what did he do? Did he okay, so it looks like he took the Bijou Dama energy that he stored earlier and then launched it back out. Very, very akin to Momoshiki there. At least that's what I assume this is, considering the karma starts to glow, but it doesn't shut down. You can still see the karma here, and then it leads to this boom explosion. So very interesting, very interesting. That's about... Did anyone other than Momoshiki do that? I mean, I guess. I forget. Man, I need to reread part 1. Because there was something else that happened last chapter, or the chapter before that, where people were like, Pencil, if you had reread part 1, you would know what this is. And I'll admit, that's kind of the Boruto code right now. If I reread part 1, I know. But I do forget how this ability works. Because I remember Momoshiki's running on allows him to absorb jutsu and then fire them out again. But maybe the all karma allowed them to do that too. I know all karma allowed them to absorb and negate jutsu. It's like a weird Android 19, Android 20 version of the 6 past powers. But never mind, he just booms them. Let's see. And that's the thing, Jura's not healing. Oh, and Kawaki's doing numbers too. Okay. What I say? Yeah, you know, Jura's somewhat relative, but clearly not too relative. Darn. Blows Jura's guts out. I don't even need to make a joke from there, but Jura is like 2 days, weeks. I still don't know how much time has passed in the universe. Let's see. Okay, so he goes in for the numerous stabs. Bam, 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 bam. Okay, so maybe this is something that he's just releasing energy, because this is a lot of explosions to be coming out from just one absorbed Bijou Dama. Okay. Wow. Okay, so Kawaki. Kawaki really said, I heard y'all put me on fraud watch. Kawaki really said, I heard y'all started an agenda against me. Y'all try to put me down there with that fraudulent being code. Couldn't let it slide. He could not let it slide. He said, I am not no limitless code dog. Let me show you what I'm really built like. And he's really built like that. Multi-piecing him with the stick only to smack up. Honestly, the only way this could be more disrespectful and more horrific for Jura is if Kawaki, instead of open palm swinging on him like that, if he just backhanded him away. But hey, a front swing, just as effective. And honestly, not even as effective as the stab, seemingly. Though, I don't know. Like, there's no way we're booming. I mean, are we? We've been out here for 2 years, so maybe. But he hasn't even been, like, main antagonist for that long. Let's see. Through multiple pillars.
It's alright. There's no problem. Calm yourself.
This is something I'm still interested in. I don't know why he doesn't have control over karma. Like, unless I'm mistaken, Momo... And don't be afraid to correct your boy, because I haven't reread part 1. I don't want to put it on anything. I don't even want to put it on my left big toe, because I like my left big toe. I need that for balance. But I wonder what it is. Has it even been hinted at on why he cannot control the karma? Because I thought what happened was Momoshiki was like, hey gang, like we good. Don't get me wrong, I know Momoshiki can still manifest, but I thought the whole point was he couldn't, like, recreate his own body. At best, he could retake over Boruto's body. And maybe that's what he's avoiding. Maybe that's still the issue, where when Boruto's putting too much pressure, Momoshiki's like, let me out. Let me out. It's our body too. It's my body too. You're Boruto Otsutsuki now. Come here. Come here. Give me the body. I think maybe that's it. Because ultimately, Boruto being restricted to base is great for his base scaling. But at the same time, I do actually want to see him start using karma. And I'll admit, call me a little biased, call me a little crazy. I actually do miss Momoshiki a lot. I actually do really want to see Momoshiki post-type skip. I love to hear his commentary on things like Jura, the Ten Tails, even Code. Like, I'd love to see Momoshiki talk smack about Code. Like, oh, look at this false Otsutsuki trying to use our powers and getting watched by his own kids. Oh, booty me. But let's see. Whew. Okay, but it's starting to fade. All right. Ooh, oh, but Kawaki went back to base. All right, Kawaki. I wouldn't do all that now. He's not down just yet. Let's see. Okay, something bad, but you know it's bad when we're halfway through the chapter and Kawaki's already aura walking. Let's see. Ooh, but Jura, yeah, he's in a real rough spot. Not as bad, though. With how many booms he was getting hit with, I really thought he'd take more damage. It looks like that hand is damaged. A good chunk of his torso's out. His shoulder's chunked. Let's see. And it's very interesting. So far, we haven't actually seen the Kokugan active, but he's using Sukuna Yukona. I mean, it's not impossible, though. We've seen other Uchihas use their... or other dojutsu users use their abilities while their eyes are not active and or they're literally blind. Or they don't have eyes. Like, we all saw blind Madara use a Susanoo. Like, it is possible. Let's see. Is this? Oh, okay, so that's not that. So, Kawaki, through the augmented parts, is broadcasting the battle to Amato and Sumire. Let's see. Is this? Whoa! I can't believe he's able to push Jura this much. Maybe he can actually... Uh-oh. Uh-oh, is my boy Jura about to cut? Okay, Jura. Let's see. But punish him for aura walking, Jura, please. No. Okay, so he reaches into himself. He pulls out a book. Flip. Uzumaki Kawaki. I'm a scientist. Uzumaki Kawaki. As I thought, you're displaying incomparably greater combat ability than before. However, how did you manage to acquire such power in so short a time? Uh-oh. Well, actually, no. He's still in base. Actually, it's not just you. Uzumaki Himawari. She suddenly transformed before me and showed what seemed like someone else's power. But you know, I do love that. I love that because this is a separate Ten-Tail seed, he doesn't actually know what happened to the previous Ten-Tails. Like, he probably, like, he has loose context, but he doesn't know that the last Ten-Tails was split up. So realistically, he was fighting a piece of one of his siblings, technically, when you think about it, like, the grand scheme of things. The other Ten-Tails that was split into the Nine-Tailed Beast, which obviously Kurama reincarnated from, into Himawari, that's technically one of him. And he probably even recognizes it's someone from the Bijudama, and that's why he so clearly says what seemed like someone else's power. And obviously Kawaki's technically doing the same thing by wielding Ishigi's power through the karma. Let's see. In hindsight, it's as if Yamanaka Inojin's sacrifice served as a trigger in some way. Uh-oh. So now he's going to start understanding human emotions. So is he going to get a mental amp? Dude, Jura, please. Wait, Jura, please don't get a mental amp. Because notably, the thing I did point out and the thing I did find weird, he really didn't seem to care about Ryu or Matsuri. When they were reduced to their thorn soul bulbs, he didn't really care at all. He was like, whatever, be like that when I be like that sometimes. But maybe, now that he understands, okay, clearly something's up, right? You, way stronger out of nowhere, after such a short period of time, it doesn't make logical sense. The girl, after I boomed her boy, she suddenly got massive gains. Some math is not mathing right now. Does that have something to do with this human emotion stuff y'all be talking about? Oh, I thought that was a weakness. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe these mental amps go crazy. Let's see. And Uchiha Sarada, she unexpectedly... Oh, yep, Sarada too, I forgot about that, yeah. She too unexpectedly awakened to power and took my brethren down extremely easily. Interesting that he calls them brethren. I mean, I guess technically, like, I'd call all humans technically my brethren if I was talking with a different species. But if Jura truly is the Ten Tails, which I do think he is, technically, when you think about it, they're his kids, right? Right? Or like grandkids? If you think the Clawgrimes are all Jura's kids. The Clawgrimes bite somebody else, that becomes like the mother and father, or just the parents, and then the divine tree person that's born is the child. So Jura, being the father of the Clawgrimes, or the creator of the Clawgrimes, would technically be the grandparent. But I suppose brethren is close enough. And took down my brethren extremely easily. Sarada did? Samira's like, I was talking smack to that girl. Is she gonna diff me when she gets back? Let's see. Every one of these is an unusual situation that would be unthinkable under normal circumstances, and it is my opinion that all these concerning incidents seem to have in common emotion of some sort. It's very interesting that like Kawaki's letting him yap like this. I wonder if Kawaki like literally can't attack him, or if he's, you know, just being a little bit too arrogant right now. Because right now, best course of action is to boom this man, right? Right? Like I'm not like Kawaki, if you can boom him. You do not want this man to get stronger or figure out more tech. And like no universe. I feel like I'm lagging. Hold on one sec. There we go. But yeah, like Kawaki, boom him. Stop letting him think. Like, don't let him think. Unironically, we like, if you'll remember, the biggest weakness of most of the tailed beasts that aren't named Kurama is the fact that they don't really have the cognitive ability to use their raw stats that well, so they're kind of just like massive flailing beasts of chakra. It's why the Jinchuriki are typically stronger than their individual tailed beasts, on top of obviously their own chakra pool in combination with their tailed beasts. So Jura technically doesn't have a Jinchuriki, but he's presumably still just throwing his weight around. So if you give him time to realize things like emotions, that he should actually be angry at the fact that you slaughtered his grandchildren, he could get a mental amp. And as we've seen in Naruto, mental amps go absolutely dumb busted. And considering it looks like he's literally figured out the mental amp phenomena as we speak, the only person who is kind of an exception is Kawaki himself, though. Like, unless you think he himself getting humbled counts as an emotional event comparable to the death of Yodo and or the possible death of Inojin when it at first happened before Himawari's eyes. Technically, Kawaki is the outlier, but Kawaki is the outlier in many ways. Let's see. Common is the topic I'm currently passionately researching. The thing called love. Okay, but this thing, how does Kawaki's scenario correlate to that? That's the only thing that's like a little bit of an outlier. I get how Sarada's does, it's love of just like another person, and obviously, you know, Yodo's love for Shinki is what led her down her path of getting boomed. And then obviously Himawari's love for Inojin, that triggered the Nine Tails being bad. That triggered Kurama being like, fine, I'll lend you some of the juice. But for Kawaki, I'm not sure what like love. Oh, I guess the love of the village. I think that's meant to be it. Like the love of the village and wanting to protect Naruto. And you know, the chapter's literally called Kawaki Uzumaki. So it's the love of that family that is pushing him to go so far so fast for the sake of them and making them sure they're all safe. So yeah, technically Jura is right. He's even a better, that's a fat brain individual right there. He's an even better analyst than I am, because I didn't even think about that until I thought about it for an extra second. Let's see. But notably, he's so calm now. I thought he was feeling at least a little bit of pressure earlier based on this. Why are you doing this? Based on this interaction, where he looked like at least a little intentionally pressed here. Like this looks like a stress phase. But he's still like treating this all as a game, something to study from. And he still hasn't healed anything. But let's see. Interestingly, like Kawaki isn't really pressing him about it. He's like, intriguing. Let's see. There's no doubt that it is a curious, fatal weakness that you humans possess. But on the other hand, could it also be a factor that enables extraordinary evolution? What do you think, Kawaki? I'd love to hear your honest opinion. Yeah, he does it. So he's still not taking anything seriously. But I'm not sure. Once again, it's hard to tell the line that Jura walks on. I think that it's fantastic for like a main antagonist of his type, the antagonist that's trying to discover and understand the world. But very specifically, it's hard to tell where he is in terms of his consciousness, right? Like, we know he is still slightly governed by instinct, but he is the most conscious, arguably, of all the other Ten Tails or all the other Shinju. But at the same time, it's clear he doesn't really understand that it isn't just love that he needs to be studying here. It is the loss of love and the rage that would come from it, or the determination. Like, he doesn't seem to understand the steps beyond that. And he doesn't even seem to comprehend that he should be in danger. Now, I'm not sure if this is arrogance on his end, or if he just literally doesn't understand what it means because he never died. Like, I don't know about y'all. When I was first introduced to my mortality at an age when I was conscious, I was like... But for the longest time, I didn't really think about death. Like, I'm just me dying. That's so cringe, dog. I would never do that. Like, that's like when the mind of a babe. And essentially, Jura, despite being so well spoken and intelligent, he's still a baby. Like I said, he's at most like a month or two old, and that's really assuming a whole bunch of time has passed since the start of time skip, which I really don't think much time has passed. So he has like no context for anything. So let's see what he does here. Okay. So he went back to base only to re-up it and immediately Orifar. I see it, Kawaki. Okay.
You talk a lot for a pest.
Boom! Just straight. Jeez! He gonna live that, though. My glorious King Jura, he gonna live that, though. Let's see. Boom. Oh? That's a tail, right? Did he swap out one of the clawgrams? Because then I guess he could have teleported out at any moment. Oh, no. Oh. He's manipulated that. Okay, so that's what he did against Boruto last chapter too. Or not last chapter. I think like 2 or 3 chapters ago. The roots under the ground, he controls that, and he's using that to restore his body. And presumably even tank this attack here. Very impressive though, considering he was taking massive damage from just regular Kawaki attacks. And to point blank take, I forget what that ability is called, but take that blast straight on, head on. Okay, Jura, wasn't familiar with your game. Huh? Oh, don't blow your fuse so quickly, Kawaki. I just want to chat with you. Okay, so the root comes out, it digs into his eye, and regenerates it. Okay, so yeah. Jura, that's why he's so calm. Ultimately, he knows he's still not in any real danger. Even with Kawaki's massive amps, it is still true. Jura still just seems to be a tier above. But you know what the question is? If they boom him quick enough. Like this is definitely a case of, do we have to Dragon Ball him? Like, are his stats actually that cracked? It looks like his durability still isn't that high. His speed isn't that insane. Like, sure, he was able to react to this, so maybe he is still holding back. It's really hard to, like, Jura, I'll give him credit. He's super hard to read. I don't know. Let's see. I mean, I never expected for you to come to Boruto's rescue. For as far as I know, there's only one thing in the world that you want to protect, and that is supposed to be Uzumaki Naruto. So see, like, the breadth of his knowledge, where it's from, where it goes, like, how does he know that? How does he know that? I mean, like, obviously, maybe he's just making inferences, considering at the moment he probably thinks that this is Uzumaki Kawaki. That's per the title of the chapter. But still, very interesting that he's able to parse this out with very little understanding of... Well, you know what? I think I gotta contextualize it like this. I think Jura does understand humanity. He knows what love is. He knows all these things. He just doesn't understand... He knows, but he's still struggling to perform, like, the linkages between knowledge. It's like... If I tell you that 2 plus 2 equals 4, and I tell you 2 times 2 equals 4, and I tell you 2 to the power of 2 equals 4, you know that. But why are those all the same, but then 2 plus 3 equals 5, and 2 to the power of 3 equals 8, and 2 times 2, or 2 times 3 is 6? Those are 3 different answers. How come, even though it's the same thing, but with a different number, they all create different numbers, even though in the initial offers I gave you, they all produce the same result? If you just have that knowledge, you wouldn't really be able to explain that to me. I think that's where Jura's at. He has the knowledge of humanity. In fact, he probably has a good just chunk of information about all of our cast. But he doesn't have the linkages in his head yet. He doesn't know how to connect point A to point B to point B, or to point C to point D. And that's why he's trying to talk. He's trying to figure it out. He's trying to develop the ability to gain those linkages, which is once again, very interesting to see. If you were to ask me before Boruto 2 Blue Vortex started what kind of story we were going to go down, I really was not expecting this, but I do like it. It especially works well for our two main characters who are still trying to like figure out their own humanity when they're both almost like the furthest thing from humans you could be in this universe. Let's see. Supposed to be Uzumaki Naruto. Interesting though, so Kawaki's still not phased. At least not like aggressively phased. A while ago, I went to Konoha seeking him, and was shocked to learn that he passed away. So like, see, that's the thing. Where are you getting your data from, Jura? Where? I have to assume, like, even though he is Ten Tails, he had to absorb, like, Ishiki's body. Or Jigen's, like, he has to have some sort of base. Not only does he just, like, look like Jigen / Ishiki, but also, it looks like his data is from around that time period, where he has all this information. But let's see. But now, looking into your sincere eyes, I'm convinced. Uzumaki Naruto, he's alive, isn't he? But see, he's so clean with it. I love Jura, dog. Man, I'm sorry for ragging on your design, broski. I didn't understand it. I didn't understand it, my boy. Especially like I didn't even comment on it, but even the flower motif here and how it's so well presented by the roots and he's the flower, like that's so cool. But with that being the case, I do like that Jura's able to understand humanity so well, even if he doesn't understand humanity so well. He's able to read it, right? It's almost like a person who's able to, this is going to sound slightly sociopathic, because I think it is like the trait of a sociopath. Someone who understands people, but doesn't understand people, if you know what I'm talking about. Like, they can recognize, oh, that person's sad, oh, that person's mad, oh, that person's happy, oh, that person's this, that person's that. But you ask them to feel any of the emotions themselves, and they're like, I don't know. And there are people like that, and it's not always a bad thing. Some people just struggle to feel certain emotions, and under the right circumstances, they still can feel those emotions. But Jura definitely reminds me of that, where he understands and is able to recognize all these things. He recognizes sincerity, such a unique thing that would be hard to tell in a person, especially if you barely know them. Like, presumably Jura barely knows Kawaki, but since he could see it, he knew it was true, which is crazy. Let's see. So I'm right. You're easy to read. See, yo, Jura frying this man after getting pieced up that badly is crazy. Let's see. I'm not good at lying either, and I know this will likely get under your skin, but I want to consume Uzumaki Naruto. Still very interesting. I wonder why that is. Notably, since we know this is Ten Tails, is it like because Naruto is a pseudo Ten Tails? Or at least he was, obviously before Kurama Baryon moded out of his body. We know that Naruto essentially became the next Sage of Six Paths, right? And we know he was a vessel for all the chakra of the Bijou. Now, obviously, how much that carried over into Boruto post the loss of Kurama is questionable, considering it was like Kurama was holding the chakra for him. And we don't really see him use any of his various elemental Rasengans that he exclusively sort of had during the end of Shippuden. But I'm assuming that's why. I'm thinking the Ten Tails wants to eat itself, but can't eat itself. That's why Jura wants to consume Naruto. I don't think it's like any sort of particular thing where like it's going to be revealed that this is some secret guy who's been like a super fan of Naruto all the time and he wasn't actually the Ten Tails. No, I think this is the Ten Tails trying to understand itself by consuming itself. Because that's what we know, that's what Jura's after at the end of all things. He really just wants knowledge, information, that good, juicy, raw data. He truly, the reason I has stuck with giving him the Vexen voice is because he truly is like Bijou Vexen. Vexen? Why did I say it like that? Bijou Vexen. For any of my Kingdom Hearts fans who knows out there, what does Vexen do? What does he fight for? What does he talk for? What does he scream for? It's that thick, juicy data. And that's what all that Jura's about. That's why I've kept him with his voice, even though I think it is kind of goofy for a major antagonist. And it's because it just matches so well. He's so scientifically interested in things that seem almost atypical to scientific discovery. Like typically, the study of science is to separate emotion from fact. But Jura is so invested in emotions as facts, and it's very interesting to see. Let's see. And Kawaki's not saying a word. Oh, well, you know what? I'm betting right now he's like, he's literally stalling because even he knows, according to what Boruto told him and the flashback, that they actually still can't beat Jura here. So ultimately, letting Jura talk and yap and move forward is good, because what Boruto needs right now, since we haven't seen him in a couple pages, he needs the time to focus. And if Jura's focused on talking down to him, obviously he's not focused on Boruto, meaning Boruto has the time to locate everybody with the special signals, grab everybody, and dip out. Of course, though, we run into the same issue we ran into before, where Jura can just go to the Leaf Village. Unless they take him somewhere that's not the Leaf Village, I don't know what stops Jura from just showing up again. Like he'll know. Well, but then again, it really is hard to tell how active Jura will be now that he's actively engaged with both Boruto and Kawaki. We know he likes to fight strong opponents against his very, like, intelligent nature. He wants a good challenge. So I wonder if he'll let them go or if he'll hunt them down. Presumably for the sake of the narrative, though, he'll have to let them go, because I highly doubt. Like, if Jura hunts them down, I think they're still cooked. They need to get stronger. Let's see. I heard... Oh! Well, there we go. There it is, literally. So I didn't even read the second page, but here we go. I heard he shared a deep bond with many of the bijou, and perhaps love had something to do with that as well. I can't help thinking that. So it is truly a case of he wants to eat Naruto because Naruto is a pseudo Tentails. That's it. That's it. Because no other bijou really represents that like Naruto. So of course you're just gonna eat the guy who's closest. Look at your boy. Look at your boy. Let's see. I'm hoping that I might learn more about love if I devour him. But once again, I love how Jura's approaching it purely scientifically. He's like, I don't really even feel anything towards the guy. I don't even know the guy that well. But I think my current interest, which is love, something that seems so complicated and abstract, yet tangible enough that it can give you such drastic leaps in power, all this, yeah, it seems neat. It seems legit. Oh, now I think about it, it's probably a pretty big deal that Amano knows for a fact that Naruto's alive now. So does Sumire. Wonder how that information is going to spread out. But with it being the case, very interesting that Jura's like, hey, dang. Like, it's nothing personal. And even in fact, he says, I know it'll get under your skin, but I'm just going to be honest with you, gang. I'm not going to lie to you. Let me let you know my target. And I think this also plays into not just Jura's honesty, but once again, a bit of his arrogance from being unchallenged, essentially. He is letting them know all this because it doesn't really matter. Jura is moving much more, let's get that straight, he's moving very calamitously, as if he's inevitable for any of my Marvel fans out there. You know what I'm talking about. It's kind of like if you see a tornado coming towards you, you can do your best to survive. You can run, but you're not outrunning a tornado. If a hurricane or a tidal wave is coming towards you, maybe already be too late. The second you see it, you may be cooked. If the ground starts to shake and rupture, it's already over. And Jura, being a Ten-Tails, given human thought, he truly still is that sort of embodiment of consumption and destruction. So ultimately, he sees all these insects, all this, realistically, all this data is buzzing about and flying before him. All things to consume, all things to understand. He's like, that's it. That's my base core. So it doesn't really matter what you do, because in the end, you will all be mine. So Jura is taking his time savoring all this, but at the same time, he knows. And that may just be his undoing in a sense. Something tells me, what if Jura loses, and he will, because we know the first chapter of Boruto Part 1 has to reach the point, and presumably Kawaki and Boruto are not going to be fighting in the ruins of Konoha while Jura is still running around being active. I highly doubt Konoha is going to be destroyed, and Jura is going to still be chilling somewhere. But with that being the case, if he truly is going to fall one way or another, it's not going to be just through raw power, though obviously I do think Boruto and Kawaki will get stronger. I think it's going to be through the fact that he believes a little too much in his supremacy and then tries to eat something he really shouldn't have. And I mean eat in both a literal and metaphorical sense. He could like try to eat the wrong person and then accidentally boom himself. But also, I believe he'll try to devour someone and not realize the ramifications of what that could mean. Because he believes it's inevitable. He's inevitable. The consumption of this world is but another piece of his DNA. But ultimately, I think that's going to backfire on him. If I had to call Jura's downfall well in advance, because I think we're at least getting another 3 years out of this guy. And I know that sounds crazy, but I can smell it. It's gonna be something like that. Let's see. Darn you! Yep, and here comes Boruto. Huh? Sorry about the wait. We're good now. I've got a lock on the symbol. There we go. All right. You're flying Raijin, I take it. I loathe us parting, but so be it. I suppose we're done for today. Yeah, that's the thing. He's still very passive. And that's going to be his downfall, too. Ultimately, especially after seeing their power growth. Well, maybe not Boruto's power growth in particular. Because Boruto, he's kind of known Boruto, and he one-shot him easily. But at least for Kawaki, seeing Kawaki's power growth, Sarada's power growth, and Himawari's power growth, I think his passivity and his unwillingness to remove these very obvious threats now that they're in front of him, and even allowing them to escape. It's that hubris kicking in, and it's that feeling of inevitability that he has. And notably, it's funny, because I define it as hubris, but I'm not exactly sure if it is hubris, or if it is instinct, right? Like, I can't imagine that the largest land mammals or land animals ever exist. I forget exactly what they're called. The massive cephalopods, when they were at full size, I highly doubt they were arrogant when they would walk wherever they want to do whatever they want to do. They were just that massive, nothing could stop them. But I think that's what it was, right? Like, it was just instinctual. I am this big, I am this heavy, I am this mighty. I am. So nothing else could be. And that's the same case for Jura right now. He believes he's so big. And I guess that's the difference, right? He is a beast of instinct given thought. So what once would have been chalked up to innate animal instinct is now being transferred into a sense of humane hubris, where he is letting these threats go and do as they want and do as they please, even if they can get exponentially stronger, because he only believes no matter how high they climb, how high they climb, they will never reach the peak because it's simply out of their reach. But I don't know, Jura. I wouldn't trust him. Let's see. I suppose we're done for today.
Let's go, Kawaki.
Oh. Okay, he says, give me a sec. I'm about to say, Kawaki, you're not going to stay and fight this guy, right?
Let's see. Give me a sec. Hey, Jura, listen up.
Jura's like, oh, you want to talk with me now? Jacked and juicy, bro. I love it. Let's see.
I don't really care about love.
Oh, you love your family, man. I know when people hear love, they always think about it in, like, the romantic sense. But, like, you love people. You love people. I think most people love people, whether it be their family or a close friend. Like you love somebody. Heck, you even love yourself, right? Which I do think is also very important.
But I will give you credit for your instincts and intuition in setting your eyes on Lord Seventh.
Once again, look at that. A combination of instincts and intuition. I mean, like, maybe you can argue they're like animals with intuition to certain degrees, but instincts and intuition are two different yet interlinked things. One comes from the nature of the beast, what is in the core of all of us, as we are all still animals, but at the same time, intuition comes from the ability to rationalize based on information given to you. So Jura truly is that weird, he's walking that fine line. Let's see.
Don't misunderstand, though. You will die by my hand. I swear on it.
Okay, Kawaki. I mean, probably, possibly. I can actually see Kawaki killing him. I can see Kawaki getting Jura's body. Especially, once again, going with the whole idea that Jura's going to try to consume something a bit too large for him. Especially with Jura's very specific interest in Naruto. I don't see Jura actually killing Naruto. I mean, that could be. That could be a thing, but I highly doubt it. Especially since Kawaki is the key to Naruto right now. So, it'd be very hard for Jura to get to Naruto without getting through Kawaki, and I don't see Jura getting through Kawaki. Because, once again, Chapter 1 of the first part needs to happen. Let's see.
I swear on it.
Amusing. I appreciate you being frank with me. Yeah, that's the thing. He looks at them like children. And I guess with how old this Ten-Tail seed presumably is, they probably are just children. And they actually are still children, because I think they're all underage still. But, yeah, he's a little too confident. Let's see.
Now I'm done. Let's go.
Kawaki, I'm glad we got to talk. Let us meet again. And you know what? Here's one thing. This is going to sound a little bit crazy. Oh, I gotta hurry up. This is going to sound a little crazy. If I was in Jura's position, I think I'd act the exact same way. If you put me in the exact same position as Jura, and even give me my current level of, like, cognitive understanding and ability and recognition of human emotions, stuff like that, I think that almost childlike fascination with the world would be amplified to the point where I'd act very similar to Jura. The only thing is, though, I think the fundamental difference between me and him is that I would immediately boom Kawaki and Boruto. The two Otsutsuki, or not, if not boom them, I would definitely take them out and keep them in a perpetual state of taken out. I don't want them to die. I need them to be consumed in order for me to consume the planet. Obviously, that's the whole point of the Divine Tree. So that would be the rational thought. I would take them out, though. They are clearly threats capable of growing well beyond my comprehension. Or at least to the point where it's a possibility that they could grow exponentially. I'm not risking that. They will be boomed. Let's see. Let us meet again. There's no way this is a real panel. Can I put this in the thumbnail? I'm gonna risk it. I feel like the thumbnail's gonna get security checked. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. Darn. Hey, at least he's being honest on how he feels. Look at this crazy duo mead mugging, dog. Let's see. Clunk. It's Boruto's.
I was told to drop it somewhere around here, cause it's harder to sense the chakra if someone's holding it.
Ah, okay. So it truly is imbued with his chakra.
You might want to take a step back. It'd be pretty pitiful if you got stomped on or something.
Oh, okay. So yeah, they got the full plan. Darn, stomped on him anyway. Okay, Kawaki. No need to be mean, man. Ow!
Kawaki? Huh? What the heck are you doing?
That's my line, darn it!
I'm sorry, Konohamaru. You are such a bum, bro. You're
Domain bum expansion. Konohamaru. Let's see.
Sorry about that, master. You still have the thorn bulb? Eesh. This thing, right? Of course I do. Good. Then we'll head straight to Konoha.
Ah, to revive, Matsuri's Moegi. To revive Moegi.
Then we'll head straight to Konoha.
I wasn't sure for a bit how it turned out, but we can breathe easy now, right?
This shouldn't be praised. This is way too dangerous a wager that could have easily destroyed even the good futures.
The thing is, though, Kawaki, I do wonder, especially with I do agree with what someone brought up in last month's review. I kind of don't like the idea that the futures can be changed spontaneously on the dime. It can be consistently updated. Because now, essentially, with this, especially considering this does seem to be like a nexus point in history, right? Either here, Boruto went, or didn't go, and Konohamaru died, or Boruto went and he died. But now, the timeline's completely changed. Konohamaru's alive, Boruto's alive, Kawaki's alive, and massively amped. This seems to be like a nexus point. So I feel like even all the good futures that Kashin Koji saw prior, if none of them included this, they're all now irrelevant. So like, I'm not the biggest fan of how prescience is functioning as a narrative tool, but I understand why it has to be super vague and unshakable. And also, I do get the whole point of Naruto and Boruto as a series is very specifically breaking and changing fate, escaping cycles. So ultimately, all Kashin Koji's ability is a narrative tool to not just make the character stronger, obviously, like Boruto over the time skip, but also to be an idea of these set predetermined futures that just exist to be shattered by those who decide their own fate. So I like it narratively. No, I like it more thematically and meta-narratively than I actually do like it narratively. I think narratively it's a little. Let's see.
The fact that Boruto survived itself is a good thing, of course. But thanks to his actions, the future has greatly shifted again.
Yeah, again, but it's infinite. Let's see.
What's the big deal? Isn't that how life usually works to begin with?
I don't know how old Ada is, or Damon. That's actually pretty wise there to say, because it is true. I was like,
this isn't someone else's problem, Ada. Mamushi's going on the move, and his target is you.
Ugh, you're joking, right? Gross.
How effective will Mamushi be, though, with my glorious, legendary, juicy, handsome, scrubbing-lips King Damon right there? In fact, where is Damon? Please tell me you're next to Damon. Where's Damon? Let's see. Uh-oh. Mamushi, man, those poor teeth. Poor bald Hidari. Oh, he's back, and he's smiling. Oh, Hidari's like, dude, what's that? What happened?
What's with your facial expression? You feel unwell or something?
Oh, just the opposite, Hidari. Listen to this. Kawaki actually paid me a compliment.
I keep calling him a grandpa, and he does sound like one. And I always think back to my own grandfather, because when I always used to think, one day, grandfather, I'll be strong enough to beat you. And then, like, by the time it wasn't really ever worth proving it, because I was like a full-grown adult. But I remember when I was young, he'd always, like, laugh whenever I would give him any sort of, like, yeah, Gramps, you're really strong. And he'd be like, oh, my grandson thinks I'm strong. Ain't that sweet? And then he bodied me again. Like, I still remember one time I tried to, like, catch him off guard and tackle him. He literally stumbled slightly, grabbed me by the shoulder, and threw me. Like, one arm just lifted up. He's really strong. He still is. I love that man. Freakishly strong for his size. But then again, I get it from him, and I get it from his daughter, my mother, and I also get it from my dad. I'm relatively strong, even in comparison for someone of my build. At least that's what I think. I may be glazing myself. I was like, flip. Oh, but even Hidari's reading now. It didn't even click with me.
There's a modern phrase I just learned that might be appropriate to use right now.
Oh, Hidari, what is it? Oh, see, me and Jura are the same way. Oh, what is it?
Totally ick.
Oh no, okay. I think honestly, I have to say, this may be my favorite chapter of part 2 so far. Where did I put the sword? There it is. This may be my favorite chapter of part 2 so far. If you couldn't tell by how good a time I was having, how fun the breakdown was, and how much I'm loving the character work on pretty much all sides. I mean, this wasn't really a strong character chapter for anyone but Kawaki and Jura, but like, I really like Jura. I think he truly, so far, he's either in even running or just barely surpassed Ishiki for my favorite Boruto antagonist so far. Has he surpassed any of the major Naruto antagonists for me? Not just yet. I do think I still need more time with him. But up to this point, I'm loving him so much. An amazingly W chapter. I love Jura's journey to and through humanity. It's just isn't such an interesting tale for a villain of his ilk and caliber. That's what chef's kiss, beautiful, fantastic work by Ikimoto and Kishimoto. Loving the character writing. I'm going to make some Boruto videos, man. I can't just be talking about it in the reviews. I have so much that I want to talk about with Jura and Kawaki and Boruto and the comparisons and all that. But if you made it all the way to the end of this video, please do me a favor and leave... That's nasty. That's nasty in the comment section down below. And thank you so much for watching. So leave a like, share, comment, and subscribe. Make sure the notifications so you don't miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Also, you even have a Patreon down below, or you support me for as low as $1 a month. You things like exclusive videos, early content, and more. You also now become a member of the channel for as low as $3 a month to get the same perks and more. So those perks include the live reactions every this season to review, after variations of all my videos. And if you become a $12 Patreon or $12 member, you can order whatever video you want. Also the link to my Ko-Fi in the description down below. You drop 5 views to a short video, 200 beats long video, or any beats at all. Any support is always greatly appreciated. Now, I'd like to thank you so much for watching. Once again, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is the guy with the pencil, writing off.
I would like to give a thank you to our sketch tier members: Eternal Flame, Redwolf 4765, Astro, Super Flame Zero, Glacier, XZ, Zera, Brendan Payne, J2MA, Guillaume, Buddha Uda, Alex Kenny, Yuki Ally, Enzo, Nevis 97, Zachary Wilson, Azo 2404, Planet Crone, Rye Rich, G Prosper, Swift Strike, Alexicon, Striker Man, and Autumn Mornings Lazo. Then, I'd like to give a thank you to our line art patrons: Sean, Midnight Lord 21, Kevin, Encarnacion, Dread Zoan, and A+A. Then, I'd like to give a thank you to our Ink tier members: Austin Wimberly, Euchia, and Shrimpo the Shrimp. Then, I'd like to give a thank you to our digital art tier members: J Warrior and AZ Void. And I'd like to give a thank you to our colored art tier patrons: Waki Munoz and Waki Munoz. And a final thank you to our ultimate, that guy with a pencil tier patron, Calvin's wife. Not Calvin Elder, who ultimately does have one of my kidneys, but now I must know, and I must undergo the process of getting this second one removed, so I can send the other over to this wonderful family.